Alrighty. Okay, so like Miss Katie said, last week we all kind of had a little, a little brain bubble where we just kind of forgot to record. So what we're going to plan for today is we're going to go over the family signs again. This way we have a recording of it. We may not go as long because it was seen last week, so it's going to be more of a review. Then we're going to move on to WH question words and like how you would sign those, and then places. I might flip these because it's hard to want to do where if you don't have places. So we might flip that. I also wanted just to kind of do a quick little, not side note, but kind of a side thing. I wanted to explain about something that happens in deaf culture that's really kind of cool in my opinion. So for when you're talking about like for names, like of people, and I said when you're saying your name, you would go my name and then Gillian. And I don't think I explained that a lot of people in the deaf community I'm sorry, give me a second. Let me let him out before he starts barking up. Sorry about that. I just knew he was not going to wait. I think he heard the dog next door and was like really excited to go out there and bark at them. And so I had to go let them out before they started really getting loud. Anyways, what I was saying in the deaf community, when you are talking about a person, you don't always have to fingerspell that person's name. So what they do is they have something called a name sign. And you can't just pick a name sign. It's actually got to be given to you by a deaf person. And what's really cool about it is that, when you're born and your parents decide to name you, they give you your name. Most of the time, that's kind of how it is. Sometimes you can change it. And either way, obviously works. I'm just saying, most of the time, you're just given your name. But for a name sign, like without personality or anything kind of involved, sometimes they are, but sometimes they aren't. But for a name sign, it's completely relying on your personality and what's something like a trait, like a character trait of you that really kind of shows who you are. So, for example, my name sign is Gillian. It's the G on my top of my cheeks. And what's real funny about it is that the reason it's that is because when I'm talking, usually I have really red cheeks. You can see them right now. This is just because I was hot. But like if we were in person, you would have saw big cherry tomatoes on my cheeks because I get really red in the face, like right here. It's just something I've always done. And when I was learning ASL and I would try to practice and communicate, I met one nice man when I was like helping volunteering with like the Christmas party. And like I would ask him like to kind of, what's the sign for this? And he was very helpful. And then he finally asked me at the end, he goes, do you have a name sign? I said, no, I don't. And he's like, well, I'm giving you one. It's Gillian. And I thought that was the coolest thing. And then I would ask all my other friends later if they got name signs. Like, and this is like years later. And most people are like, Caitlin for heart, or I have a few that have like an S on the corner of their mouth because they smile all the time, and all this. And I'm like, those are so sweet. And I'm over here with red cheeks. Like that was my personality trait. So I think it's really cool how they do that. And I love the fact that you can't really just give yourself one. You have to have someone from the deaf community to give it to you. And I don't know, it just is so much more meaningful to me. So at my school, when we're talking about different teachers, we don't just fingerspell their whole names. We do their sign names, which actually adds, it's kind of cool. I'll just say this, and I promise we're going to the actual signs. Is that technically, because of that, my kids are not calling me Miss May. They're calling me Gillian. And I just always think that's such a fascinating kind of thing. There's still the respect there. You can see it, but I don't have a different sign name for like teaching. So like I don't have one that's like Miss May. I just have Gillian. That's it. Which is just so cool because that's so different from like regular schools and public schools, sorry. And I just always think that's kind of just a cool thing that happens. So Now we will get on to the signs. I just wanted to say that little fun little blurb. Mainly I thought of it because I have the red cheeks going right now. So I was like, oh, this is perfect. There we go. So we're going to start with our review of family signs. So the first one obviously is family. So family, family. Then we have mom. I want to see if anyone remembers. Yeah, mom. Oh, excuse me. So you're going to have that thumb on your chin. Yep, mom. Then we have dad. Dad. Then we have, I'm sorry, I was trying to jump around, but I'm trying to keep them in order again. Sister. Do y'all remember sister? Sister, right? Sister. So you have, yep. So yes, there you go. You guys got it. So you're going to keep your L's on both sides. Usually you're like the bottom one, your L is kind of sideways. It's not like up, it's sideways. And then the other one is like that. And then they're just going to go on top of each other. Sister. Then we have brother. Brother. Same thing, but from your forehead. Okay. Now we have grandma. Grandma. The bouncing grandma. And then we have grandpa or granddad. And that's at your forehead. And you're going to bounce out. Granddad. And then, okay. Then we have aunt. So A for aunt, and then shake it next to your chin. Aunt. And then we have uncle. And uncle is going to be up higher next to your, kind of next to your temple. Uncle. And do you guys remember the sign for cousins? Or cousin, any kind of form? Yeah. So cousins, that's C. And if you're talking about a boy cousin, it'll be up high. If you're talking about girl cousin, down low. If really it doesn't matter if you're talking about a boy or girl cousin, you're just talking about your cousins. It's kind of like right here with your ear. Yeah, cousins. Okay, then we have, so I'm going to just do boy and girl now before we do son and daughter, so that way you guys know that when we build on. So boy is the baseball cap, boy. Then we have girl. Yes, girl. So it's going to be the thumb. It's kind of like in the middle of your, your, oh goodness, your jaw. Sorry, I had to think for a minute. I'm a better math teacher, not like an anatomy teacher. So please don't judge me if I can't describe parts of my bodies, like the bones and stuff. I'm just not great at it. But you're going to go, yeah, on the side of your like jaw, girl. So for daughter, you're going to do girl, baby. Girl, baby. For son, you're going to do boy, baby. I'll do higher so you can see, but it's more kind of relaxed, like how you would actually like hold a baby. Boy, baby. Okay. Oh, I skipped niece and nephew. So nephew is going to be the N to your forehead or temple, and you're going to shake it in. And then for niece, it's going to be near your chin again. So N again. All right, perfect. Okay, let's see. Grandma, grandpa. Like I said last time, for grandchildren, you can either just fingerspell grand and then go children. It's kind of bouncing. Yeah. It's almost like you're patting their heads. So pat, grandchildren, or children. And then you can fingerspell grandchildren. Or you can do, like I said, grandma, daughter. So like grandma, daughter. Really, I feel like if you did like do grandma and then girl, daughter, or grandma, baby, I feel like people would get your point. I think it wouldn't be that complicated. And if all else fails, you can just fingerspell grandson, granddaughter. So, sorry, they are trying to talk up a storm outside with the neighbor's dogs, and it's trying to make sure they're not trying to like break down any fences. Okay, let's see. So then after that, we had in-laws. So for in-laws, you would just do that family member sign. So for example, sister-in-law, you would do sister, and then you would do law. I think I might have done in law. This is the actual sign for in. I can't remember if I did in or in. Either work, I would honestly do the finger spelling the in, because it's not like you're saying he's actually like inside the word law. Oh, no worries. You're good. You're good. And this little tidbit real quick is that a lot of times in ASL, it's very literal. And so what I mean by that is, if you're saying, like, you know how we say the phrase, it's raining cats and dogs, you're not going to say cats and dogs raining. You're not going to do that. You're going to say it's raining really hard, or it's like severely raining. Yeah. So you're not going to just say some phrases that we usually do. It's very literal. So when you say like in something, you really want to say in law, because it's not like he's inside something. So in law. So the L, yeah, law. Law. So it's the L and you bounce it from top and bottom, law. And then for any step member family, like step family members, you would just finger spell step and then that family member. So step mom, step dad, and so on. I think and also for half siblings, I didn't do this one last time, so I'll add this real quick. Half siblings is kind of the same way you would do step. So you would just finger spell half sister, half brother. Okay. I think that's all the family signs. I'm having to go through that family tree list real quick. I might have forget some, and I always feel like I forget one in every class. If you guys can think of one, let me know so I can say it, so I can not leave you guys hanging, because I know I do that at times. I see. Thank you. I knew I was forgetting. I was sitting here going, something's not finished. Husband and wife. Okay, so for husband and wife, they have the same signs, but again, wife's gonna be with your chin, husband's gonna be with your forehead. And it can go two different ways. You can do wife. So it's the back of your hand is gonna be touching your chin. And then your opposite hand, the non-dominant, is gonna be open, and then they're gonna clap, wife. And then husband is now from your forehead, husband. Some people will do, like, they'll have the one finger open up, and that, wife, or husband. It really just kind of depends, because some people, like I said, some people do this, some people do this. Both are right, both can be used, so it's really up to you. If someone does yell at you and say, no, it's supposed to be this, it's supposed to be that, just, you can tell them, well, you know what? No, because someone else does this too. Thank you very much. Because it happens with everybody. All right, let's see. So the next thing after that is going to be, I believe, places. Okay, so the sign for places, which is just kind of your general place, you know. I use this for like parks and stuff, because there's not actually a sign for park. I think you can fingerspell just park, it's so short. But I'll use place a lot of times. So place is going to be you're going to have that K's, because remember, P's are K's down, so you're going to have them up this time. You're going to, sorry, I had like a hand cramp suddenly. You're going to turn them sideways. Yep. You're going to start kind of in front of you. So see, it's kind of forward from me. And you're going to have your two middle fingers touch. And then you're going to make a square. So place. Yeah. So you're going to come, you're going to be out from you. You see, I'm going to turn sideways so you can see it. Place. I start away from me and come to me. Yeah. Place. Place. I know that one's just a really awkward sign. It's not got a great view of it. It looks weird. Even if I was in person, I'd probably be making very weird poses showing you how to do it. So it's a very awkward looking sign sometimes. This is just the basic place. Okay, we're going to start off with the library because I have a bad history of forgetting that one, which is really sad because we do this through the library. I try to remember, and then Miss Katie has to come in going, Gillian, you forgot a place. So the sign for the library is going to be an L, and you're going to make a circle with it. Library. Library. It's a very easy sign too. I don't know why I keep forgetting it. And then we're going to do obviously school, because that's my first instinct is to say school. School is going to be your non-dominant. So your left hand's face palm up. And then your dominant hand is going to tap it, clap it. School. Yeah. So I will say the sign for paper is very similar. Paper is, instead of it being like both hands forward, it's sideways. So see, like paper. Yeah, paper. But I was just gonna let you guys know that, so you guys make sure your guys are like, look at this as at how sorry, I cannot talk today, it's been a long day. You see how like they're kind of touching, they're not away from each other. That's how school should look if you look down at your hands. If you're looking at it trying to see what paper is, paper, it looks more like this. So you see, so you want to have it this way. So school. I made that way more complicated than needed, and I apologize. If you guys understood it, you can just ignore all the awkwardness I just kind of explained there. I do that sometimes. I fall down a rabbit hole trying to be like, did I explain this right? I'm not explaining this right. And so I over-explain. School. Okay, then we have like your workplace. A lot of times we just use a sign for work. So the sign for work is you're going to have your left hand in a fist. Your right hand, or your dominant hand, is also going to mean a fist, kind of looking like the S. And then you're going to work. So you want your dominant hand, your writing hand, to hit the other hand. Yeah, work. Because this is my, here, I'll do it right-handed. Ooh, can I do this right-handed? Yeah, work. 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 For a business, like a business place, there is a sign for business. It is going to be your non-dominant has that like B looking shape. So does your dominant. And you're going to go business, go back and forth, business. Yeah, business. This is also busy. Like I'm busy. So business, busy. Does that make sense? Okay. All right, let's see. Then we have, oh, we're going to do cafeteria. I'm sorry. We're going to do restaurant, I promise. But like cafeteria is obviously the first thing that comes to my mind because of school. So cafeteria, restaurant, they all pretty much are going to do the same thing, but have different hand shapes. So for cafeteria, you're going to have that C, and you're going to go from your opposite corner of your mouth. So the opposite side. Yeah, there you go. And you're going to cafeteria, cafeteria. Yeah. Cafeteria. And the reason for this actually is because of like when you have napkins, you know, and you dab from each side, it's like that. It's a cafeteria. Then the sign for restaurant is going to be an R and do the same thing. Restaurant. Restaurant. Some people will try to do this. I think that also can be another sign. So I would just stick with the R's just for recommendation. Because I believe, I feel like this is also single, like the sign for single. So I'm trying to not say you guys are like, I'm looking for a single, like you're looking for a restaurant. I feel like that could just really get an interesting conversation. So restaurants. Okay. And let's see, what other place? The grocery store, or really any kind of store. The sign for store is going to be your hand puppets. Now they're looking sad, so they're looking down. And then you're going to have near forehead and you're going to shake them. Yeah. So this is store. This is any type of store, any like clothes store, grocery store, yeah, jewelry store, any kind. The way you define what you're trying to say. Like if you're saying the grocery store, is you would say like food store. But most of the time people do kind of understand, like I don't really have to say grocery store. I'll say, oh, I have to go to the store today. I'm out of food or something like that. And it's kind of understood. The sign for clothes store would be the sign for clothes. So it's going to be kind of open hand. Your thumbs are going to kind of brush down your like shoulders. Yeah, clothes. So this is clothes. So you'd go clothes store. So clothes store. Okay, let's see. Any other places that we go? I feel like I always forget places when it comes up. We did the library, we did the grocery store, we did school, we did cafeteria, we did restaurant. The doctors. So if you're going to the doctors, there's actually the sign for doctors, like the doctor's office is like the same you would use for the actual sign for doctor. So the sign for doctor is you're going to be, your left hand's going to be left hand is going to be palm up. Your right hand is going to be bent like this, and it's going to tap your chin. I mean, chin. The palm of your, like, your hand. I'm so sorry, you guys. I cannot talk tonight, but it's going to go doctor. Yeah, doctor. So if you're saying you got, like, I'm going to the doctors, you would just say going doctor. If you wanted to, you could sign the word office for that, like afterwards. The sign for office is going to be, you're going to have two O's. You're going to start them office. I had to think and make sure. So you're going to have them kind of in front of you. Office. It's like you're making a square. It's really awkward. I know. It's like that.
Which one goes first? Like which one goes in the front?
So it really doesn't matter per se, I think, because it's the same. Oh, let me do this real quick. I'm overthinking it. I got to sign them real quick, like in a sentence to make sure I'm doing it right. Cause I'm sitting here like confusing myself trying to explain this to you guys. And I apologize for that. Okay, I got it. Right. So office is going to be two O's in front and then just turn sideways. Office. Yeah, office. It doesn't really matter which one's in front. I have my left hand in front because like, since I'm left-handed, so right-handed, it really doesn't matter. It doesn't make a big difference. It's the same thing. So office. For room, like you can do the R's, and it's the same thing you do for office. Room. But more times you just see this room, and you want to make sure you're not like doing this because that's open. You want them like spaced out. Yeah, room, almost like you're making a box in front of you. Room. Okay, does that make sense? If it doesn't, please let me know. I can try 20 more minutes of having to explain that, trying to probably scare you guys and go, oh, I don't know this anymore. So that's room. I'm trying to think for just two parts of a house. Oh, wait, house. Okay, there we go. So the sign for home and house, they have two different signs. The sign for a house is how we would draw as like kids. So house, you draw that triangle and then house. Yeah, house. And I know I go up. I don't know why I do that, but it's house. I think I luck out that since I'm doing it so fast, people just don't notice that I'm technically going up, like I'm making an M for some reason. I don't know. My hands just do that. So it's house. Yeah, house. Then we have home. So home's going to be an O kind of shape. You're going to start at the corner of your mouth, and then you're going to go back to your ear. Home. And we do have someone who is a dorm student. Sorry, I had to think for a minute because I was like, am I going to show you guys the sign for dorm and no one needs it? So the sign for dorm is the same thing, but now it's with the pointer finger up. So they're making that D. Dorm. Dorm. So you start from the corner of your mouth and go back to your ear. Dorm. Mhm. Okay, we'll stop and we'll go back and review the places. Okay, so remember the sign for place? I've done it like 3 times while we've been doing these. Yes. Okay, so we have our K's sideways in front of us, and we make a square. Yeah. Place. Place. Mm-hmm. Place. Yeah. Place. Perfect. Okay, then we have library. Library. Mm-hmm. So it's the L and you're going to make a circle with it. Yeah, library. Okay, then we have school. Mm-hmm. School. School. Then we had paper. I added paper in there. Yeah. Paper's almost like it's kind of, I'm trying to figure out how you would describe it. It's almost like I'm beating my other hand because it's pushing. Yeah. Paper. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Makes me think like if I was trying to mash something, you know, that. Yeah. Then we have cafeteria. So it's the C on the opposite side of your mouth. Mm-hmm. Cafeteria. Yeah. Then we have restaurant. 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 Then we had work. Do y'all remember work? Work. Mm-hmm. Work. Good. So it's your dominant hand on top of your non-dominant and it taps. Yeah. Work. Then we had business. So business was that B. And it goes back and forth across. Yeah. Business. Mm-hmm. And you want to make sure
for people of a certain age, it's like the credit card machine.
you
like we don't like
that could very well be why it's that.
That's why but like kids these days. No, y'all have probably seen credit card machines.
Well, I mean, it makes sense it really would make sense because the sign for phone is phone. Like there's a lot of signs in ASL that it's almost like use your common sense. So that would
I'm gonna bus scout. She just texted me and said, I have too seen that credit because Crestline Pharmacy just got rid of theirs like last year or something.
The only way I know of those machines is from seeing them in movies or my parents talking about them. I have not experienced them, but I also was not that kid that paid attention a lot when they were with their parents going shopping. So like if they did use a card, I never really paid attention. I just kind of looked everywhere else. So, but I've seen them in movies. That's the only way I know about them. But yes, so we have business. And then what was after that? We had business. Work, business, and then we did, oh goodness, this is why I need to keep my list better. Okay, house, yes. So house, mm-hmm. And then home, mm-hmm. Home. So is that O tapped on your corner of your mouth, back to your ear. Home. Do y'all remember dorm? Mm-hmm. Dorm. Miss Katie, I saw you do that. She did the F at first, and I even saw her, but she caught herself because she looked like shocked. Her hand went that way. Like, no, it's this way. It happens all the time. Oh yes, doctor. So we have doctor. Mm-hmm. Doctor. Miss Katie, I promise you that happens to me all the time. If I'm trying to fingerspell, my hand's like, no, you're not putting those 2 letters next to each other that way. And it's always like, you know, like the R or R's or E's, and like my E wants to be before my R, or my R wants to be before my E, or whatever. And it's like, I can't do it the other way. My hand's like, no, it's always going to be this way. And I have to sit there and I have to like hold my hand. And like, it's almost like I'm saying, you're going to spell the word right. It's really funny. A lot of kids do that too, though. Like if they're getting frustrated, they can't spell it right. They just grab their hand so aggressively and they're like, you are going to do what I'm saying to do. And it's so funny because it's just trying to keep it clear. Like how when I am trying to speak and you over enunciate every sound to get it out. Yeah, it's basically that in sign. It's real funny to me. I do it all the time. That's why. Okay, so we had doctor. We had office. There we go. I was like, I knew we had more than this. We had doctors. Then we had office. So the O's, office. Yeah. office. Then we had room. So the R's, room or room. Both are accepted, both will work. Oh, excuse me. Okay. So let's see. The next thing was, how are you guys feeling on places? How are we feeling? Are there any other places I'm sorry. I just remembered we didn't do store again. I feel like I'm having one of those days where I just cannot keep focus, and I apologize. Store. 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 So then we have the grocery store. And then the clothes store. Okay, so are there any questions or any other places you guys would like to know the sign for? I'm trying to think of some.
You mentioned school and paper. How would you do pencil?
So pencil is going to be pencil. It's like you're almost like are holding it in your right hand, or your left hand, sorry, would be like the paper. Pencil. This is also the sign for writing too. So pencil, writing, it's context that'll help you kind of keep it clear. The sign for church. You guys are gonna love this because we're getting a 2-for-1. So I'm gonna show you guys the sign for church and the sign for chocolate. And the reason it's very important that you guys see both. So the sign for church is gonna be your left hand's gonna be in that fist, your right hand's in that C. Church. Chocolate is chocolate. Very similar. And I will not lie, as I was learning ASL, there are many times I was saying, I am hungry for some church, and realized, nope, I mean chocolate. Or I would say, I'm going to chocolate, and people would stare at you going, a factory? You going to the chocolate store? And I'm like, what? No, a church. So it happens. I always love to have those two together. I just think they're funny. So church is going to be your tapping. Chocolate is the spinning. I almost would think about when you melt chocolate and if you're drizzling it and it's like that spinning drizzling, I think of that with the chocolate, if that helps make it kind of connect. Okay. Any other places you guys would like to know, or you guys are like, we didn't go over? I'm trying to think. There's obviously so many places, and some of them you would end up just finger spelling. And like I said, finger spelling is not going to hurt if you finger spell. If you finger spell church, no one's going to judge you. So for factory, I have actually not seen a sign for factory, but I've also not really used the word factory. I feel like it depends on what type of factory, because the sign for machine is machine. You have open hands, they're kind of touched, and then they bounce. Machine. And I would almost think of saying a business factory kind of deal. I will check on that. Obviously, if you have to use the word factory before next week, you could just finger spell factory and no one will judge you. So, but factory is just not, let me add that real quick before I forget. Factory, oh, I did not spell that right.
Can I ask a quick question out of curiosity? So when you're signing to your students, are you actually speaking also, or are you just signing?
So I go full voice off. The reason for that is two things. One is that it's actually a lot easier for me. And that's kind of the reason why for two is because the talking and signing at the same time is called simcoming. This is the sign for it. It's a C and an S for simultaneous communication. Cannot pronounce that word ever. It is a really hard thing to do. I know you see me doing it a lot during class, but the problem is that if you do that, it's like trying to speak French and speak English at the same time. And you just really can't. One of the languages is going to not be as correct. And so for you guys, since I am teaching you guys ASL, I do sign because I can't help it. I have a problem. It's not a bad problem. It's a good one. Is that when I come from school, or I'm thinking about ASL, or I'm thinking about deaf community, deaf culture, anything, I immediately go into signing mode and I will talk and sign. But that does not mean that what I'm signing is grammar correct. The sign itself is right, but like in ASL, I wouldn't sign it this way. I'm signing more following English, if that makes sense. So it's really challenging. And all of my kids are profoundly deaf. And they don't have any cochlear implants or hearing aids. So they don't rely on any form of speech that I provide for them. So me speaking during class doesn't really help them. And so I just kind of turn my voice off and I sign all day. So if I did have a student who was hard of hearing, I would voice. I probably would sign it first without voice and then come in later signing with voice, just to make sure it's clear the first time it's correct, and then come in with that support. So yeah, basically all day. All day. This is like sign or sign. And that's just me all day. I still talk just as much. It's just in this though. I have some really good friends, and one of them wasn't there. She wasn't there yesterday, and I missed her so much. And when I saw her this morning, I was like, "Oh my gosh, you're finally here! We have to talk. We've not seen each other." And she's deaf too. And and I just all the time, and like we do it because she and I came around the same time, so we're just like, we have to be buddies. So, okay, so there is a word for farm. So I saw there was a question. So there is a sign for farm. Obviously there's a word for farm because the word itself is farm. The sign for farm is going to be your thumb. It's going to be on the opposite corner of your mouth again. And now it's going to go across. Farm. Farm. So if you were going to do, I know we'll learn animals later. I'm just going to do the basic farm animals. If you were going to talk about farm animals, you would do farm animals. Animals is like your forefingers are kind of into your shoulder. Yeah, like almost where your armpit is, but above, and you bounce it. Yeah, it's basically like all the motions of like how you would do a bird. I just think about like kids when they're pretending to flap their wings. It's like that, animals. Oh, excuse me. So yes, that was farm. Okay, playground. There we go, one clicked. So for playground, I know playgrounds and parks can be usually together. If I'm ever talking about a specific play area, like playground, I do the sign for play. So it's 2 Y's and you shake them, play. And then I do the sign for area, which is area. It's just kind of, here, I'll kind of turn it down like this motion of like going in a circle, area. Because that's just talking about a specific plot of land that, nope, sorry, my Siri was trying to catch on to the word area. And I was like, we do not need to be researching area on our watch. But so area, so play area. And I think that's a good number for places. If you guys obviously think of any more, save them or let Miss Katie know. She'll let me know. And we can do them next class. So are you guys ready to try to learn some WH question words? I think you guys will like them because it's more ways you can talk to people. It's like asking questions. So we're going to do our basic WH, who, what, when, where, why. And then I can add the how and the other ones later, but these are the main ones we're going to focus on. So when you're doing a WH question word, there are kind of rules that you have with them. One of them is that when you are asking a question, your eyebrows are actually very important. They are going to help tell the person you're talking to what type of question you're asking. So if you're asking in these who, what, when, where, why questions or WH, your eyebrows, you want them down. And I know our instant thought is, but that makes it look like I'm angry. It doesn't, I promise. So you would go, we're going to go through them, but I want to explain it. So like when I say like who are you talking about? I'll go who, and the eyebrows are down, who. If it's a yes or no question, your eyebrows will go up. And that's just the way it goes. And a lot of people do struggle sometimes because you have to be kind of facially aware of where your eyebrows are. And if you're doing this, but you're asking a who, it can get confusing. Most of the time, I feel like you still can get your point across. They might just be judging you because you're going who, but they'll kind of get it. So, okay, let's go through the actual WH question words. Oh wait, I'm sorry, I lied. One more rule that's important. All of these words go actually at the end of your sentence. So I'm going to say it now and I'll show you guys later. So the first one is who. So who, you're going to start with that L with your thumb on your chin, and it's going to bend into that X. Who. And if you see my mouth makes that who shape, that's kind of, I mean, you don't have to, but like that's what most people do is a who. Who. Then we have what. So what is going to be open palms up kind of like this and just go what. 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 Yeah, sorry, I'm loving y'all's facial expressions with what. Like it's so hard the first few times learning it because you can't help but laugh at yourself about it. What? But later on you start to do it, it's actually more natural. So we have where. So where is going to be your pointer finger slightly bent. It's not full X mode, but it's like slight. Yeah. And you're going to go where? Where? You're going to shake it back and forth. Where? And then we have when. So when is going to be both your pointer fingers, and really doesn't matter which one, if it's your right or your left, it's whatever you're comfortable with. It's going to go in a circle. When. Then we have why. So why has a couple of different ways you can do it. I'm going to show you all of them. I'll kind of tell you probably the most basic one, that's like the one that is pretty much taught everywhere, and you will probably see the most. It's going to be, you're going to start at the top of your forehead and you're going to pull into a Y. See that? Y. Y. Some slight differences you may see is that they'll do the same thing, but they leave that pointer finger open. Why? So it almost looks like you're turning into Spider-Man. Why? Another one is you'll see the middle finger and they'll go why. It just bounces. Why? You have the full, every other hand is up, but your middle, and it's bouncing. Why? I know that one's like what, and don't worry. Like if you know at least why, like you're pulling away from your forehead, why, you're fine. You'll be good. Why? I know this one's just it. And I used to be like, what is this? This is so weird. No, I like this one better. Now I do this one. That's all I do. I'll be asking my kids, okay, yeah, you said you like this. Why? And it's kind of natural when you see, it's like when you're talking and you're with people that, say a specific word or something, like a phrase, and and then you end up start saying it yourself and you're like, when did I start learning this? When did I start doing this? I do the same thing in ASL, and I think a lot of people do. And it's kind of funny. You just watch and you're like, why am I now saying this? Like, this was not the way I said this before. So why? Okay, so we're going to go back through them, and then I'm going to show you how you'll use it in a sentence. Use them in a sentence. So we had our who. So who? Who? And you want to kind of have it I have it sideways where my thumb is on my chin, my pinky is kind of forward, and then I have the who. Almost looks like what you would do with an inhaler. I know that's like a random way of connecting it, but that's kind of what it looks like. It's like you almost are pushing a inhaler. Who? Then we had what? 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 And then we had where. Where, so is that slightly bent X, where? And you'll just kind of bounce it back and forth. Yeah, where? Then we have when. 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 Then we have why. Why. Or why. Or why. Whichever you guys prefer. Why. So how do we feel on these question words? I will try to this weekend make a video of a quiz. Maybe I'll even try that. I can't. No, yeah, this weekend. I was gonna say during this week, but there's a lot going on this afternoon. So I'm like, I don't think I'll be able to these 3 days, but this weekend I can work on a video of like who, what, when, where, why question words, and some of the place signs too. So that can give you guys more practice. Okay. So if I were going to ask a question in ASL, we never learned the word bathroom. That's kind of an important one. That one I did forget in the place. I'm sorry about that. There are 2 ways you can say it. The most commonly one used, which I pretty much see everywhere, is going to be a T, and you're going to go bounce it back and forth. Bathroom. The other one is going to be kind of the more proper restroom. Restroom. I had one ASL teacher in college who said, don't then we go to different schools, we met different people, and they all use restroom, bathroom, this, so, bathroom. Yes, there is a sign for how. Oh no, okay, I just got the notification saying that my internet was unstable. Where did I